Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. It's Tuesday. Today is the 29th of the month. Boy, we just jammed right through the month of July, didn't we? And it just, this year's going by pretty quick, it seems. Pretty quick indeed. So we're already in July. We're the 29th. We are at a sun sign already of Leo. So Leo is a fire sign. Leo is all about creativity. It is the 5th house of the zodiac. The sun is the symbol that rules over the sign of Leo. Okay, so we have all of these different associations of Leo that signify some sort of brightness, right? Brightness, light, energy. And then we have the moon sign, which at this stage of the game here is the next sign after Leo, which is Virgo. So we go from a fire sign, we go to an earth sign. And when we get down to Earth, Earth is the physical thing that was created. So it's not moving, it's stationary, it's solid. But it's an idea in a physical form. Okay, because you think about it as your idea in the fiery form. We know what that looks like because that's your idea. And then your idea in the physical form. And so you've got the fire and the earth. And trying to bring these two together. And ultimately that's what will be happening and was what really happens every day. So, sun sign Leo, moon sign Virgo, fire and earth, things that we're working with. As we go through, we see that later this afternoon there's an opposition between Neptune right here. It looks like Trident's fork or trident that you would see Poseidon have. And you have the moon sign. So we have Virgo, the moon sign, and is opposite of Neptune. So Neptune, our keyword, would be new perspective. The tarot card of the Hanged Man, looking at things upside down. And that's opposite Virgo, which is the Hermit, holding the lantern up high. So you got these two balancing themselves out, because if you look at this, it kind of looks like a teeter-totter, even though it's at an angle here. And so you could see that what it just basically means is they're both at the opposite ends. But remember the lesson we learned from the Kybalion? Remember the lesson learned from the Kybalion where it talked about polarity? So if we have opposition taking place, which is what this is, aren't those two things the same pole or the same energy, just different ends of the same pole, all right? So all we're doing is sliding back and forth from one to the other. So we know that because they are both part of the same pole, one's on the positive, one's the negative, they both have some similarities to them. So they're balancing each other out as well as being completely opposite and being different, and that is how they balance themselves out. It's the idea of being an individual while being part of a team as well. Okay. And so that's a little bit after noon, and then as we get later tonight, we have a trine. And a trine means good vibe, good positive energy going on, good flow of energy, and that's between Virgo, again, the hermit, also associated with Hephaestus, the wounded healer, because healing is implied with the idea of the hermit, holds the lantern high. We learn things. Sometimes we become wounded, but then out of that woundedness we grow. We learn. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. It's a saying that we like to employ just to kind of remind ourselves that we go through tough experiences sometimes. So we have a nice, good, positive energy taking place later this evening between Pluto. Pluto's just like Neptune. Looks like this, except it has this little, let me enlarge the screen a little bit here. Except it has, as you could see, just a little bit of something up on top here. Instead of it being a single trident like, looks like this, okay? So we have our moon sign Virgo is in Pluto. So Pluto, deep transformation. Pluto's the planet way, way out there. So if we think about the sea and the ocean, the space is the sea, and we're going to swim out there, we'd have to go way, way out there into the waters. So way deep into our subconscious mind is the idea that we look at this. So when we think of Pluto, we think of something being way deep in our unconscious mind. And this energy that comes from Pluto now is going to be in a good, the waves coming off of it are going to be in good synchronicity with the Virgo, with the hermit, with our patience, with our understanding the nature of timing. Because, you know, no matter how we look at it, if we're not paying attention to the timing of life, things are not necessarily running as smooth as they could be. I think I've said this before, but I really think about what Shakespeare said, all the world is indeed a stage and we are merely players. So if that's the case, if we were to take that particular phrase, and there's plenty other examples out there, that life is unfolding according to some divine script, well, once we understand that that's the case, then the more we understand what our role is, the more fun we can have with the script that we're a part of. And we also understand when we come into the script and when we don't. Because like any story, we want to be able to understand the timing of the story so that we can enter the stage at the right time and not jump in at the wrong time. Because if it's the second act and we're not supposed to come in till the third act and suddenly we jump up on stage, well, it's just going to get in the way of somebody else doing their part. And so timing is very important. We need to be patient. And I think sometimes we rush through life. You know, at least that's what I find in the experiences that lessons I learned. Sometimes there's the rushing, wanting to go through life, and then you get to a certain point and life hasn't ended. There's still more life that goes on. And so as we keep doing this, I think the lesson about patience really gets learned more and more, because we learn we need to be patient. There's nothing that we're rushing to, nothing we're having to rush forward or for, because everything we need is available right then. We just need to stay in the moment, stay focused. And when we stay focused in the moment, we realize what we have. And so I think there's a lot of really cool lessons that are going on. And I find a lot through all of these astrology, Kabbalistic studies, is esoteric sciences. All right, so there you have it. So that's the energies we're dealing with today. Earth on the subconscious mind, connected to the idea of the hermit, and the conscious mind, Leo, connected with the idea of strength. Our numerology for today is the number 7. Here's how we arrived at the number 7. At the 7 plus the 2 plus the 9 plus the 2014. Altogether, that's a 16. 1 plus 6 equals 7. So there's our number today. 7 is number of victory. It's the Sephira of victory. It's one of the Sephira on the Tree of Life. It's the number of the Chariot. So let's look at all of the associations here where 7 is. 7's right here. And it's just all reminders every time you look at this symbol and learn and remember and so on and so forth. It will just be good for you. So there's 7 there. Here's also 7. So our sun sign, Leo, we're right here. We're going to be a Leo for the rest of this month. And our moon sign today, Virgo, right here. So it's all good to see where all of these are, you know. And if this subject doesn't really hold an interest to you, then all of these images and all the things I say really aren't going to, they're not going to matter. You're not really going to care about. But if you're interested in this subject here and understanding what this tree of life is about and how you could learn from it, take time every day to look at it. And all the little moments where there's discussion about it, you know, it's all valuable. Because every time, no matter how long, and I've been studying this for a while in this lifetime, and I believe that we study these sciences in various lifetimes, in various places, I still learn new things from it every single time that I look at it, because there's a new way of understanding, because we're at a new point in understanding in life, and that changes the way that we look at it. So, you know, I'd encourage you, just look at the symbol, learn from it, understand where we are on a daily basis. I don't always understand just by looking at it how and what it all means. I have to put it together like a puzzle at times, and once you do, and once your mind starts thinking about it that way, you start getting quicker and quicker at doing that. And you know, you'll be pretty amazed with yourself at just how much it helps you grow. And that's the whole idea. All right? So today I wanted to pull up, because I want to do one card a day here. This is the Hermit. This was our moon sign. Represents Virgo. Virgo is actually the moon sign. The Hermit is the symbol that represents that. The Hermit represents the one identity, or the I am. He represents the consciousness of the man who has attained enlightenment, and he stands upon the mountain peaks as a light bearer for those below him on the path. He is solitary, alone. The symbolism points to the fact that in the reality, the central self of every one of us, which seems to us to be the separate from every other self, is the same one identity. Because this key represents the one identity, it also symbolizes will, since the manifested universe came into being by an act of the primal will of the one identity. The Hermit's gray robe, by its color, symbolizes the neutralization of all pairs of opposites in manifestation by each other, because opposite colors mixed equally produce gray. The staff corresponds to will and the archetypal world. He stands in darkness because what is behind our personifications of the supreme reality is dark and incomprehensible to our intellects. Yet he came to the golden six-rayed light, symbolizing cosmic principles and laws. As our consciousness awakens to the understanding of these laws, the darkness recedes as the light shines more brightly, until at last we find ourselves upon the heights to which we now aspire. And the Hebrew letter, Yod, means open hand. And Yod is one of the symbols, the Hebrew letters, that is around a lot. So as we continue with our studies, I'm just going to throw out bits and pieces every time we go over one of these. Just kind of throw them in your memory banks. But this is one of the letters that is around a lot, so you'll see it quite often because it's one of the important letters that is out there. Okay? Anyway, moving on. We'll do the studies on Mondays where you'll get much more insight, and we'll learn more about that. All right, the moon phase at the moment, we're in a waxing moon, means we're making our way up to a full moon, 6% of the way there, over at, or up in the sky. Vega is the bright star high in the east. Far down to the lower right shines Altair, almost as bright. Altair is flagged by a little terrazed 3 magnitude, a finger width above it, an orange giant far in Altair's background. Okay. Mayan Oracle, today we are at a 12-tone day, which means we're just about the end of this wave spell, which is the theme, the dragon, birth. So we've gone through our birth. We're now at the crystal position, which is where we're going to cooperate with all of ourselves that has gotten us to this point, understand why we're here. Today's about free will. So we're going to understand the free will choice we have before us now, and putting together how we were born, inspired, planted our seed, used our energy, and so on and so forth. Now here we are, free will, getting ready to jump off to explore. So which way are we going to go? That's the big question. And then we're going to jump onto the next theme. The next theme after that will be the 14th symbol, which is after this one here, which will be the wizard. So we're going to be going from our exploration, and we're going to jump into timelessness. And that's where we're going to be exploring in our next theme. We've also just recently started a new year right here. So this is the year of the red moon. And we're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 4 days into the new year. So the phrase for today, which is made up of these symbols right here, the human, the hand, like-minded energy, accomplishment, the wind, inspiration, challenge, the moon, our hidden power, purification, the seed, planting, flowering, it's our vision, the crystal tone of cooperation, and the human free will. Altogether, the phrase is, I dedicate in order to influence universalizing wisdom. I seal the process of free will. At the crystal tone of cooperation, I am guided by the power of flowering. Space weather, solar wind, 3.5 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is 1, between a 1 and a 3. We have this corona hole right here. And actually, same as yesterday, 15%, 1%, and lower and mid latitudes and high latitudes. Actually, it's dropped a little bit for geomagnetic storms, so things look like they're quieting down. We were between a 2 and a 3, so it is a bit quieter today there. So that's where things are in the cosmos there. And last, we look at our day here, 2 Av. 2 Av in the Jewish calendar. Daily thought. Pity on the cosmos. To the Rebbe, the exile of the Shekinah was a painful reality. To the rest of us, while we have other concerns, again and again the Rebbe struggled to bring us his perspective. Perhaps for you this exile is not so bad, and you feel you are doing whatever you can about it anyway. But it is not just you alone in exile. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the generations of their children, as well as the heavenly host, in fact, the entire creation, all is unfulfilled, in exile and imprisoned. Even the Creator, blessed be He, locks himself into prison along with his creation until you get us out of here. Very interesting. Something to consider that we all, and it gives us kind of a personal responsibility, doesn't it? That we all have to find a way to get out of this place, get out of the prison we're in. All right, there you have it. That gets us started for today. Gives us a whole bunch of things to consider. So on and so forth. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. So our first story here, this is the history of UFO over Cyprus. Over the past decade, there have been countless reports of UFOs over the skies of Cyprus. In December, a resident of Limassol was left stunned after spotting a strange light hovering in the sky which changed colors. His footage was just one of many incidents of unidentified objects in our skies. In 2007, a local TV cameraman also posted a clip he filmed on YouTube of a strange craft in the skies of Limassol. The 3-minute video, which was viewed by over 100,000 people, showed a circular object hovering over the city. The UFO is a bright orange orb, which later changed to a ruby ball shape. One of the earliest accounts of the UFO in Cyprus was in 1950 when 2 American soldiers described the small, round, bright object flying fast. So there you go. We see a couple of lights up there, up in Cyprus. All right, let's move on to the next story here. Are scientists close to discovering life in the universe? Okay. Searching for life in the universe. Don't look for ET just yet. It's more likely we'll discover single-celled microbes and other forms of alien life. Oh, good Lord, this again. But even this discovery would raise the chances for intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. For the first time in history, humanity is within reach of finding Earth-like planets where life exists. But these extraterrestrials may not take the form of intelligent beings, experts say. NASA's Next Generation James Webb Space Telescope, set to launch in 2018, and its larger successor, will give scientists the opportunity to look for signatures of life in the atmosphere of planets outside the solar system known as exoplanets. But these telescopes won't be capable of detecting whether the life forms are brainy beings or single-celled microbes. We believe we're very close to finding life on another planet, Sarah Seeger, an astronomer at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts, told a packed audience on Monday, July 14th, here at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. Seeger, who has been at the forefront of the search of the so-called Earth 2.0, was part of a panel discussion about finding extraterrestrial life. I think everybody wants to see intelligent life. It's just sort of part of our culture, Seeger told Live Science, but we're really just going to be happy to see anything at all. However, even if humanity's first contact with alien life turns out to be single-celled organisms, that would still be phenomenal, Seeger said, because it would suggest life may be common beyond Earth. If living microbes exist elsewhere in the galaxy, it raises the chances that other intelligent life could have formed, she added. All right, here's more to the article. Got a link to the source here. So, Sarah Seeger. So Sarah Seeger, an astronomer from MIT. Sarah, you should study the UFO phenomena, because if you're looking for life outside of this planet, there are plenty of examples. You'll find plenty of videos of UFOs, enough to make you realize you want to bring your search a little closer. Zoom those telescopes closer, because things are out there. They're just not necessarily so far away, because they're here. They're here, closer. Okay? To all of you, SETI, you too, because it's kind of silly that we're gonna find a microbe, a single microbe. Really? We have stories of extraterrestrials that have been visiting with our planet and interacting, and you're still talking about finding a microbe? People aren't that silly and stupid. People understand that there's a lot more out there. People watch Ancient Aliens and shows like this to know single microbe. When it comes to real footage of UFOs, unidentified flying objects, filmed from the 1991 NASA STS-48 Discovery Space Shuttle mission is definitely one at the top of the list. This footage is real, well documented, and it has been the subject of rigorous scientific investigations by multiple researchers and institutions. The video below shows as many as a dozen of objects moving in unusual fashion. Apart from that, the most fascinating part is when we see one object at a point near the horizon, as a flash occurs, followed by another object or a stream that moves rapidly across the field of view. The object shoots off into space. Explanations have varied from intelligent extraterrestrial spacecraft to space weather events and more. There is, however, no definite explanation, and many of them don't take into account the dozens of objects that are captured on film. There is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, that civilizations have been visiting us for a very long time, that their appearance is bizarre from any kind of traditional materialistic Western point of view, that these visitors use the technologies of consciousness. They use toroids, so-called or co-rotating magnetic disks, for their propulsion systems. That seems to be common denominator of the UFO phenomena. It's a quote from Dr. Brian Leary. Anyway, here's the video. It's a 2-minute video, lots of activity going here. You've seen this before. It certainly has made the rounds. I'll just kind of skim through it here, but you can see lots of activity. It's kind of silly also how this footage exists, that they at NASA know this exists, and yet they put out the comments that they do and say things in such a way as to lead you to believe that none of that exists and they don't know anything about it. UFO cases reported at New Jersey MUFON Symposium. More than 400 people attended each of the 3 days of the 2014 MUFON Symposium in Cherry Hill, New Jersey this past week, which caused some to report past UFO cases. A witness at a 1999 Lee County, Alabama case finally came forward with his account after attending the 2014 symposium. The symposium speakers included, there was George Knapp, MUFON Director of Communications Roger Marsh. We had Pennsylvania State Director John Ventre, Huffington Post writer Lee Spiegel. So there's a whole list here. And said this is when they were talking about one of the witnesses came forward, reported a detailed sighting from 1999. Said that she was 8 years old when a backseat passenger in the mother vehicle. Brother riding in the front seat. The mother stopped by her friends along the way. Then they saw a silent object hovering 30 to 40 feet above the vehicle. Okay, so there's a little more of the article. Check that one out. And here I brought up the website for the National UFO Reporting Center. We haven't checked this in a while, just to kind of see what's going on. The link's available at the First Contact website, so you can get right to there. But anyway, let's see here. If we go to the latest UFO reports, 7/2014. See that? There's been 858 of them. Quite a lot. Staten Island, Concord, North Fairfield, Manassas Park, Grand Forks, Temecula, Green Bay, Mounds View, Thompson. So getting them all across the country in various places. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, New Hampshire, Maryland, New Jersey, Massachusetts. Here we have 4 lights in the shape of a square float over Avalon. 3 triangular glowing craft. So on and on. You got a nice long list there. So there you go. There's our UFO news for today. I will be right back and we'll continue on. Stay tuned. Let's confirm or deny.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Underground is where they live. supposed to know where they come from or where they go? And if you ask our leaders today,
this is what they will say. Okay, continuing on. So, every day we wake up, every day we go about our activities, whatever it is we're going to do, and then at the end of the day we go to sleep, and then the next day we wake up and we do it all over again, and again, and again, and the days passed and the years passed, and we keep doing, and we keep hearing stories all around us about the events of the world and how the sky is falling on one day, and another day this collapse is going to happen here. Time goes by and the sky is still there, and the world is still here, and we're still here. That seems to be our daily challenge, isn't it? How do we go through this? And then the mind, because we do live in a world that is a mental world, that is all of the mind in moments when it gets quiet, sometimes doesn't know what to do, so we create activities for ourselves. We create busyness. And so we go through phases where we learn how to quiet the mind, and we play games with ourselves that when the mind starts to look at what's going on too much, we trick ourselves. We have mind games in society that we have to deal with, on and on and on. It's like a big puzzle at times. So it seems that you can either look at this whole thing as saying that there's really no point to any of this thing called life, or there's an absolute point to everything that's going on here. I tend to think that that is the case, that there's an absolute point, that those who are here for a particular reason. The Kabbalion tells us there's a cause and effect for everything, so the effect is that we are here because of some cause. The cause may be a decision we had to be here. If we think back to Dolores Cannon and her message about the 3 waves of volunteers hearing the call, then we understand that there are a number here because they have a specific task they are here to fulfill. So whatever the case may be, we're going day in, day out, doing something on some sort of path, figuring something out. Maybe it's a big thing, maybe it's a small thing, maybe it's a personal thing, maybe it's something big and public and grand for everybody. Whatever the case may be, all of this information that is shared, it's all intended to be used, to learn from it as best as we can. And henceforth, all the different pieces of the puzzle. Because we can go through life and we can just deny that things are going on, just like our government agencies. We have NASA not really admitting that UFOs are out there. We have different personality types and SETI people looking for UFOs and life out in the universe, but they can't seem to look close for everything. There's just a lot of confusion. And if we really want to get from point A to point B to point C, it's really not that difficult. The plan is there, but there's a lot of confusion in the world about how we're getting there because there's a lot of deception. So we need to learn to look through the deception, through the BS, to find our path, while at the same time keeping ourselves in a place where we are focused and persevering, because life continues on day in, day out, day in, day out. So learning more about it each day is important. Here we find some stuff from our ancient past that is a reality, and as we remember these things, it'll be important for us to remember. Archaeologists uncover ancient astronomy lab in Peruvian ruins. Archaeologists have stumbled upon a site where ancient people observed the stars thousands of years ago in Peru, a famous country for using drones to help uncover and map the archaeological treasures. Evacuators working on a complex at Lincanacu in the country's northern region have uncovered evidence of an astronomical laboratory that dates back between 3,500 and 4,000 years ago. According to Peru this week, astronomical observations were engraved on a flat surface rock, which were used to track stars, its report says. It's added that the petroglyphs were likely used in forecasting rain and weather patterns to help farmers. It is worth exploring without a doubt. So, in relation to what all the things I was just saying, how does this tie in there? Well, it confirms, because some information we get confirms what we know, and that's always important to have these confirmations. It confirms to us what we already know about the past, about the importance that astronomy played, understanding the planets and the stars, and so our ancestors understood. And so we find these clues to see that there is a wisdom that is out there that some will study and some won't. There's billions of people in the world. Not everybody's going to do the same thing. Are we going to be able to get everybody on the same page? Well, that's quite a challenge. It seems that the only thing that's really going to get everybody to stop at once would really have to be some grand event that everyone around the world would experience at one time. Is that a reality? Is that, I don't know. Certainly would be a big event, and it would certainly require a lot of coordination if it was a planned event from someone down here. If it is a big divine event or an extraterrestrial event, that's a whole nother story. Fact is, we need to remember. Okay? So now, we remember the things that have gone on in our past. We use these as confirmations. We understand that when we hear stories, we don't have to keep doubting ourselves. Is this real? Is this not real? Somebody said that this isn't. We got to know what we know. Okay? Now, part of the reason why we go through life and we're confused is because we have deception around us. Lots of deception. Here, I want to play this quick piece, and then I'm going to jump into the Book of Enoch. This is Charlie McGrath explaining some of this deception.
My name is Charlie McGrath, founder of WideAwakeNews.com, host on the Rinse Radio Network, co-founder of Doomcast, independent media. That's the topic of this commentary video, independent media. I'm not talking necessarily what I do here at Wide Awake News or what we do over at Rinse.com or even what Doug and I do on Doomcast. I'm talking you, the people that listen to these videos, the people that care about the future of this country, and more importantly, care about the truth. You are independent media. You need to be media. You need to be a source of information for your friends and your family and your coworkers, your people that you care about, because you're not going to get reality from a media that is controlled by so few people. Listen, Hugo Black, Supreme Court Justice back in 1945, rendering his verdict in an antitrust case, said, the widest possible dissemination of information from diverse and antagonistic sources is essential to the welfare of the Republic. That was back in 1945. In the year 2014, I think he would be absolutely shocked at how this pyramid has just continually marched forward throughout time, making smaller and smaller the amount of people that are in control of the information and the entertainment that we receive. Look, in 1983, there were 50 corporations that controlled 90% of the information that you get to listen to or the entertainment that you watch. By the year 2012, that had dwindled down to 6 corporations. And here in 2014, with this merger that is in process right now between 20th Century Fox and Time Warner, that number 6 would be reduced to 5. So it is no wonder that when we have an incident like the downing of this Malaysian airliner, every single news channel you turn to, every website that you went to that was in the line of establishment media, at least the 90% controlled establishment media, all had the exact same narrative. That's why we have when it comes to topics like what's happening right now in Gaza, we have the exact same narrative, at least by this 90%. The truth is only going to be delivered to the people that you care about by you. It is a canned message than in everything else that they're going to hear. Sometimes they sprinkle a little bit of truth in there, but most of the time it is trying to either entertain the masses or form an opinion, this collective opinion that is massaged and manipulated in order that an agenda can be achieved. We must be the media. It's time for the folks that have been watching these videos or been tuning into other independent sources to become media themselves. Stories are attached. That's all I got.
And just as a reminder, there was studies that was done, people that watch mainstream news, and it was determined that those who focused on that, and that's where they got their news, knew less about what was going on in the world than those who didn't even watch the news at all. Think about that for a moment. How could that be? It's because what he just said, there's nonsense, there's garbage thrown in there that we have to weed through. So not only are you not getting truth, but you're getting lies first. So you got to weave through all of their nonsense, get rid of the stuff that isn't there, whereas the person with the common sense understands. So, in relation to what I was saying just a few moments ago, how does all this relate together? Well, very simply, I'm going to show you the book of Enoch. We've been reading through the book of Enoch, and it talks about what's going on during these times. If we go back to the very beginning, says the words of the blessings Enoch, wherewith he blesseth the elect and the righteous who be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and the godless are to be removed. Okay, so that is the summary of what's going on, that we're in these times. Okay, there is a lot of wickedness in the world. There is a lot of deception in the world. We need to understand where this deception lies. We need to understand that when we turn on the television, when we look at the media, that they're not being honest with us, so that we don't get caught up in that illusion. We need to understand that there's information out there that's confirming that our ancestors understood the importance of the planets and the stars. We need to understand that there are extraterrestrials visiting this planet, and we can find video evidence of that every single day. And we don't need to have a government agency tell us so that we can accept it. We need to understand these things, and whenever we need confirmation of this, we simply need to go back to a historical record. The book of Enoch is one of these examples. So let me pick up where we had left off. We're only going to get through a little bit of this here. And Uriel said to me, Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and should lead them astray into sacrificing to demons, till the great judgment in which they shall be judged, till they are all made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the end of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. And these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of his holy angels who is over the world and over Tartarus. Raphael, one of the holy angels who is over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. And Seraquel, one of the holy angels who is set over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. Remiel, one of the holy angels whom God set over those who rise. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic, and I saw there's something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, For what sin are they bound? And on what account have they been cast in hither? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angel, who was with me, and was the chief over them, and said, Enoch, why dost thou ask? Why art thou eager for the truth? These are the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years, the time entailed by their sins, are consummated. And from thence I went to another place which was still more horrible than the former, and I saw a horrible thing with a great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, How fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon! Then Oriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, Enoch, why hast thou such fear and affright? And I answered, Because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, This place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned forever. And thence I went to another place, and he showed me in the rest another great and high mountain of hard rock. And there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide, very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at. And there were 4 hollow places, and deep, dark, smooth of them were bright, and there was a fountain of water in its midst. And I said, How smooth these hollow places, how deep and dark to view. Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and he said unto me, These hollow places have been created for the very purpose that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble there, yea, that in all the souls of the children of men should assemble there. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, until their appointed period, till the great judgment comes upon them. I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead, and their voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And then I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto Raphael, The spirit, who is it whose voice goes forth and maketh suit? And he answered me, saying, This is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his suit against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men. And I asked regarding all the hollow places, why has one separated from the other? And he answered me, saying unto me, that these 3 have been made, that the spirits of the dead might be separated. And such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there are as the bright spring of water, and such has been made for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and the judgment has not been extricated upon their one lifetime. Here their spirit shall be set apart in the great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of those who curse forever, and retribution for their spirits. There he shall bind them forever, and such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosures concerning their destruction when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous but sinners, who are complete in transgression, and in transgression shall be companions. But their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who ruleth forever. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Again, we could see that there's a lot of, well, there's a beatdown coming for the wicked and the godless, right? The stories, that's what these stories tell here. So we just need to be aware that we're living in a world that is challenging us every single day. Which way are we going to go? We're going to go this path or this path. And our decisions determine how we are going to be viewed, how we are going to experience future moments. So if we want to put good out, we'll have good. We'll have others respond to us because they recognize us as being good. But if we want to be on the path of being the wicked and the ungodless, then when there are those who are around to deal with those situations, will be dealt with accordingly. It's all up to us. That's the great thing about it. Nobody's forcing us to do anything. And certainly in these times, this gives us an opportunity to stand up for what we believe in. Sometimes these moments are necessary. The United States of America has been going in this direction for a while. We just haven't seen it on a whole. But now that we've gotten there, now that we really have come to this place that we have, We're seeing a bit more clearly how broken the system is. It's kind of necessary because we weren't seeing it, and now perhaps we'll fix it. And that's any situation in life. Once we see that there's a problem with it, we fix it. We understand what the problem was, and then perhaps we even move past that where we don't allow that situation to happen again. We'll see. We'll see, but we just have to keep learning. Now, one thing that's for certain is all around us we have those who are helping us to learn. Guides, space brothers, space sisters. Here's an article. This is an article from Michelle Walling over at In5D. It's called Extraterrestrial Races, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We exist in a dualistic holographic universe where polarity can be felt in extreme measures. According to the West Penray papers, as far as extraterrestrial races involved with the planet Earth, there are good guys and there are bad guys. Although there may be good and bad guys in each extraterrestrial race, West has summarized the players of the game and has described where they are from. For the perspective of explanation, the nanosecond he refers to is the time period of accelerated learning between 1987 and 2012. Alright, so what we have here is a list. Alpha Draconian, Draconian Albinos, the Red Dracos, Green Dracos, Vegans, Andromedans, the Greys, Pleiadians, Ashtar Command, Gargoyles. And then we have, he listed all of these as the bad guys according to him. Okay, I don't know. And let's see who he says the good beings are. We have the blue beings, the Aryans, the Ama Agari, the Ama Suatum, Lonotenogenics, Spirit Guides, Angels, the Oversoul. Okay. So there's a list here for you to check out, see what you think. I don't know about the Pleiadians being on the bad guy list here, but it's his list. He's entitled to make his list as he shall like. Anyway, there you go. Good article, Michelle. Very end of it here. What's it say? Very end part says, as the veil begins to lift, we are able to see beings for who they really are. Knowing the background of these beings and their agenda will help us decide if we want anything to do with them or not. Be sure to know who is in charge of your new experience, where your guides are taking you. Ultimately, you are a very powerful creator and you do not need anyone to be in control of you. Information is power, and the use of your intuition will help you discern who has your best interest at heart. Very good point. Because with all of these changes, okay, we've got the stories about the past on our planet. We have the stories and the information that we are not getting all of the information. So we know that. We have stories that are from books that we call prophecy that talk about a time of change and beings coming to this planet to assist in this time of change. Not just one type of being, but many different types, different races, and so on. And then this article here reminds us, during times of change like this, where we are introduced, we need to know who it is we're talking to. Just like it would be with any other person on this planet. We don't want to give our power to anybody. Even when we meet extraterrestrials from other worlds, we don't want to give our power to them. We want to communicate. We want to find out. We want to understand what someone's about. So it's good to understand all of these different things. It's a big puzzle to put together, but as we keep putting the puzzle together, we start to see a bit more clearly what the picture is. And that's a cool thing. That is a good thing. Alright, that brings us today to our message for today. It comes to us from Saul. Here we go.
Saul, everyone will awaken, but no one will be forced to do so.
July 27, 2014, by John Smallman.
Saul.
Many of you are undergoing great stress and bodily and emotional discomforts at present as the energy levels of the tsunami of love intensify. This is to be expected, so do not be alarmed, just relax into the now moment and allow these energies to flow through you and on out to all of humanity and to Gaia herself. This is what you came to do. You have just forgotten how demanding it would be on your physical vehicles, so make sure to ask regularly for help from your friends, guides, mentors and angels in the spiritual realms. When you do, you will feel better, more easily able to accept the discomfort, and assured of its necessity as your frequencies rise to prepare you and humanity for your awakening. We are inundating you with spiritual help and assistance, but the many alarming events happening across the world are distracting you, and drawing you down into the illusion where you tend to enter into the pain and suffering that you see there. See the pain and suffering, send love and compassion to those involved, but stay removed from it, be in the world but not of it. Doing this will make it far easier for you to connect with your intuition, your higher self, and those in the spiritual realms who are always standing by to answer your calls. I promise you that there will be no music while you wait for the next available associate. We want to help you, we are here to help you, and we always respond to your individual calls. Unfortunately, it can be very difficult for some of you to sense or hear our presence above the distracting din that the illusion, your collective ego, uses constantly to draw you into conflict. It does take much practice and personal discipline to learn to access that quiet inner sanctuary easily and quickly, but I assure you that you will find it very well worth the effort. Even the great mystics and ascended masters have trouble accessing that inner sanctuary when they are embodied, because the lower frequency level at which the illusion holds you is open to massive interference and white noise. Reassess all your daily shoulds and to-do lists frequently, realistically eliminate those that no longer serve you, and enjoy the reduced sense of stress and the resultant feeling of peace that flows in when you allow yourselves to be free. So much of what you feel you need or ought to do is old karmic garbage with which you have become stained over the eons and which has no validity today. Let it go, its lessons have been learned. Use bleach if necessary, longer periods in meditation. You were created free and you remain free, eternally free, but within the illusion this does not seem to be the case. In fact, modern medical science is attempting to prove that everything you do is caused by the flow of different chemicals through your nervous system. Obviously, drugs do affect behavior. Your human nervous systems are miniature drug manufacturing facilities, and your personal attitudes direct them in every moment. You can always change your attitudes no matter how drugged you are, except if you happen to be flat on your back unconscious, and that is what we have been asking you to do. Have only loving attitudes, and release all attitudes that are not in alignment with love. That is free will. Many, however, find it more comfortable to hold on to old unloving attitudes because they feel unsafe without them. And in lives past you have all experienced severe pain, suffering, and betrayal. It is the memories of that kind stored in your DNA that need bleaching out. But of course you will be using a far better solvent than bleach, love. Love always works. Bleach is far less reliable. See the manufacturer's instructions and disclaimers. If you have friends or loved ones who appear stuck in old outworn attitudes and beliefs, do not try to persuade them to change. This is very threatening for them. Just be loving and accepting of them, be compassionate, but do not engage in attempts to discuss these attitudes, just listen if they need to talk. Talking frequently helps them to see more clearly, especially if they do not feel a need to defend their positions. Everyone will awaken, but no one will be forced to do so. Those who choose not to at this time will be continually offered new opportunities to do so, and when they are ready they will avail of them. There is only one, so no one can be left out, discarded, or abandoned. The game of separation and abandonment, the illusion, will last as long as there are people who wish to play, but it can no longer restrict or contain those who would awaken, the very vast majority of humans. Your task, you light bearers and way showers, is to demonstrate love in action. You all know, deep within yourselves, whether you have admitted it to yourselves or not, that you are love, that there is nothing else. You are the ones who chose and volunteered to be on Earth at this point in her evolution to assist in her awakening by being loving in every situation, in every moment, and with everyone with whom you interacted. Your memories of this choice are weak, difficult to access, and yet, when you sit quietly thinking about your human situation, it always occurs to you that the only way forward is through love. Often then your reasoning mind comes in to tell you that, if everyone behaved like that all would be well, but that they don't and they won't, so be sensible and protect yourselves, don't let your guard down or you will be hurt. If you catch yourselves being defensive or even going on the attack, stop, regroup, forgive yourselves, and start over, lovingly. To do so is very disarming for your opponent. Your task is to trust that intuitive sense that the only way forward is through love. Deep within, as we keep telling you, you do know it is true, embrace it, then love everyone into awakening and bring your most wondrous task to fruition and completion. With so very much love, Saul.
Okay, so this was a very good message, important message, because it ties in and kind of ties together all of the different things that kind of were being discussed today. So, just so you understand what I'm saying, we've got all these craziness in the world. We've got the things that we're not being told. Have discoveries that we're learning about our ancestors, confirming things that we knew. We have books of prophecy, which is telling us about changes that could come in the future and beings that will be here to assist the planet, which are those who also have been here in the past. And then we hear stories about who they are. Are they good guys? Are they going to help us? Or are they here to hurt us? So on and so forth. We got all this nonsense in the world, a lot of distractions. We're going to go into some meditation now, and the reasons we do these meditations each and every day is because we want to bring it all full circle. We start off understanding how everything is energy. Everything is about that energy that we're using, we're working with. And at the end of everything, no matter what journey we take, we go back to the spirit. Because when we go back into this place and we connect in with spirit, we connect in through meditation, we find the answers to the questions we need. We're able to discern those beings that we're with. We strengthen our abilities so that when we go out into the world, or when we're just here in the world, that we're able to communicate differently with the world than we did before we did the meditation. And so that's what we look to do, and to make our channel of communication clearer and clearer, and that's a good thing. So let's jump into our meditation here. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. I want you to imagine that you are outside, running around, and as you're just walking through life, and you're experiencing all of the sounds from the world, the electronic sounds from the radios and from the televisions, the voices of the various commentators on the various programs that are out there. You hear the stories of the politicians and the world leaders and the bankers, and on and on and on and on. And as you go through life and you're experiencing this on a daily basis, and you enjoy your ups and your downs of life, and then at the end of the day you walk into your place and there you see yourself, and you look in the mirror and you notice all this muck, this darkness that is collected on you that you didn't know was there. Just little bits of darkness that gathers because we've allowed it into the world. And so you go ahead and you stand in the shower and you imagine this light shining upon you. And imagine right next to the shower where you turn the water on, you've got a series of buttons. And one of these buttons is love. So you push the button that says love, and along with all of this light, this water is also now all love as well. So you have this light and this love shining upon you like a shower. And as it washes down over you, It washes off all of the darkness that was gathered and collected. It washes it off, and you see it go down the drain. And you feel this love move through each one of your chakras, cleansing it out. And you feel that your body is getting this polish of protection. Your auric field is becoming protected. Your armor against all of the darkness in the world. And you step out of the shower, feeling refreshed, invigorated, focused. And you walk back out into the world. This time, as you walk through life, you find that none of the darkness touches you. Even though you walk, you can see it around you. You now find yourself in a position where you can be compassionate to those who are still attracting this darkness. And you think about how energy moves, and you're able to watch darkness and this energy moving around and step out of the way so you don't get in its way. And you learn to dance with life differently, having fun. And as you shine your light, you inspire others along the way to move into the light in a more patient-filled way. So just imagine yourself now walking the path, shining your light, feeling comfortable with yourself, feeling all your chakras cleansed and clear and energized. Let your subconscious mind continue on that journey, just experiencing the feeling of this cleansingness. And bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. Alright, my friends, that is our show for today. We have one last affirmation. Forget to bring these up at times. I am ready for anything. So as you go in the world today, be ready for anything. Be ready for anything. Just take all of this stuff. It's one big puzzle. And just have fun with it. Look at the world in a different way. And you'll see that this puzzle kind of has some intriguing aspects to it. I'll be back tomorrow. You have an awesome day. I'm going to stop rambling now so you can get on with your business, and I'll do the same. Love you. Keep loving each other. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.